What's up, Internet? So, something that's kind of weighing on my mind last night. I made a video, put it up earlier this morning. But something that was weighing on my mind is goals. So, I mean, I've quit goals before, everybody has. I didn't quit them because I couldn't do the work. I quit them because I let my mind convince me that I couldn't do it anymore. Um, One big thing that a lot of people don't understand is cognitive distortions are a real thing. It's habits we create within our mind that sound true but aren't necessarily are true. They change the way we view setbacks. So think about it. You missed a day at the gym, so automatically you failed. So what's the point going back tomorrow? Or you ate over your calorie intake for the day. So what's the point in trying for tomorrow? Cognitive distortions are something we all deal with, and it's not that we're failing. It's just we got to change the habits the way our brain thinks. One of the big distortions that we all fight is the all or nothing thinking. Like I said a little bit ago, is you miss a workout, so why keep going? But in your mind, you're saying I miss this workout, I might as well quit. I've already failed. It's not perfect. It's not pointless. If you have a bad day, don't worry about it. Get up and go again tomorrow. I've been through this cycle so much in my life where I'll start off real strong, and then all of a sudden my brain gets in the way. And it's telling me that, oh, you messed up, so you might as well quit. All your progress is gone. And that's what happened to me over the last 6 or 8 months is I let my fear of being tired ruin the momentum I'd built over the last couple of years. And because my brain wasn't in the right place, I wound up going backwards a lot. I put on 70 pounds of body weight since August, and I made the New Year's resolution to get back on track. And it's been rough. It's been a rough start. It's only been a week because my brain keeps telling me, "Hey, you're tired. Don't go do that. Hey, you need to get sleep. Don't go do that. Hey, you got to work in the morning. Don't go do that. Hey, you got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Why are you up so late?" That's one of those cognitive distortions kind of thing that gets it. I think it falls under the mental filtering. Um, And part of the mental filtering is like, you think to yourself, I should be further along than what I am right now. When in reality, you're right where you need to be. Because as long as you stay consistent with your plan, your brain is going to try to stop you every time. For any reason, you're going to run into snags. The thing is building the mental fortitude to keep going through that point. Um, we can overcome a lot of these cognitive distortions just by working through it for another minute or another 2 minutes or another 5 minutes. It's the same thing when it goes to strength training. You may start out lifting a lighter weight, but in 2 weeks you're going to add 5 or 10 pounds to that weight. And that's the same thing we got to do with our brains. Whenever we hit that point where we're struggling, we need to push through just a little bit harder to get past that, to teach our brain that, hey, it's okay, we're still good. A big one that I run into a lot, just here's an example, it's comparing yourself to others. Whenever my wife and I first started going to the gym and she decided she wanted to get into powerlifting, and she was always telling me how she wasn't progressing, how she didn't feel like she was doing this. She said, "People I see on the internet are doing this. They're here. They're here." And I'm like, I keep telling her, "Honey, you can't compare yourself to other people. We're just starting. Those people could be doing it." And then, of course, to come find out, she was watching Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall videos and comparing herself to those two, and those guys are absolute beast. But comparison ignores context. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's stress levels are different. Everybody is different. You can't compare yourself to the person you're standing next to because what they're going through is different than what you're going through. What their training cycle is different than your training cycle. I've got a guy that I work out with on a pretty regular basis, and he's not really new to the gym anymore, but he was at first, and he was out lifting me by hundreds of pounds, and I'd been lifting for over a year at that point. And the dude's a beast, and I can't compare myself to him because his body's different than mine. You know, he's stout, and whenever we first started working out together, I'm like, okay, maybe he'll help motivate me. but I allowed myself to not be motivated by his progress and kind of helped him get to where he's at. I worked with him quite a bit on getting him where he was at, but I learned that I couldn't compare myself to him because his body's different than mine. I'm carrying a lot of excess weight that he's not carrying. Um, he's got a more physical labor job than I had. So he's obviously maintaining and building more muscle mass throughout his workday than I was doing. So comparison with somebody else is not what you want to do. What you want to do for comparison is compare yourself to how you did yesterday. Okay? Compare your yesterday habits to what you're doing today. And then also compare your consistency to what you did last week or last month. Depends on how you got your goals set up. But if you pair consistency week upon week, you'll see your improvement in yourself. The whole thing about setting goals and working through this stuff, it's not you versus the world, it's you versus you. You're trying to improve yourself little by little every day. And that's one thing I've got to work on is because the reason I failed so many times in every attempt is I wasn't comparing myself to myself. I was comparing myself to everyone around me that was doing better, that was in my perception was lifting more weight. I didn't take into account that those guys have been doing this for 10 plus years. So by doing that, all I did was set myself up for failure. So it's you versus you. Don't compare yourself to the people around you. Compare yourself to what you did yesterday, to what you did last week, to what you did last month. And don't let your brain stop you from reaching your heights. So mental conditioning helps. Mental conditioning doesn't remove the hard days. It just helps you respond differently to them. For example, not believing every thought. If you have a thought like "I can't do this," don't believe that. So let me try one more time. Slowing down the reactions that you have whenever something goes bad. Instead of let's say, here's an example that happened to me years and years ago. I had a stressful day at work. I came in and there was a hamper in the floor. My instant reaction was to remove the hamper from the floor, but the way I removed it was the overreaction. I threw it out the back door. Not proud of those actions. That was been years ago. I was a lot younger, a lot more hot headed. But that didn't help anything. All that did was have me outside in the middle of January at 12 inches of snow picking socks up out of the snow because I had an overreaction. Or if I would have stopped and thought for a moment, hey, is this really the right thing to do? Could I walk past the hamper and ignore it? Yeah. Could I pick the hamper up and take it to the laundry room where it goes? Or could I have sat down and folded the socks? That would have been a way for me to not give in to the stress and the overthinking and all that stuff. Staying committed even when the motivation dips. That's a big thing. That's what happened to me. I was hardcore motivated. You guys came by to work out with. I was on it. I was hardcore. And then life got hectic. And the first thing that went was my motivation. My goal this year has been to keep that motivation alive and keep it going and keep moving. That's why I'm doing this video stuff, so that way hopefully I can get people to subscribe that watch this stuff, so that'll keep me motivated to help others and to help you guys see what I'm dealing with and to help you guys understand that you're not the only one that fights with it. But staying motivated is one thing that we got to do, and thought distortions really affect our motivation. So let's think about this. Whether you're an all or nothing thinking, you're catastrophizing, you're whatever the thought distortion might be. Before you react, stop and think: is this thought harmful? And the answer, most generally, if you're in a situation where you're trying to talk yourself out of doing something, is yeah, it is. Refocus on the action you're doing. One more set, one more step. Let's walk to this door and back one more time. Let's focus on recovery. Recovery is a big key to keeping your goals alive, and I'll get more into recovery stuff later. But make a good choice in that situation. Don't let your brain shut you down from achieving a goal that you've set for yourself. So, I'm kind of ending this here, but your thoughts are powerful, but you don't have to obey every single one of them. Goals don't require perfect thinking, just awareness and consistency. If you're struggling mentally with your goals, that's somebody out there that can help you with that every day. I personally see a counselor. I do a little bit of coaching on the side. I'm married to a psychotherapist, so I have a pretty good bunch of tools that will help me whenever I'm struggling mentally. Now, that being said, my wife's really not a big help for me because she's inside of it with me, and everything I do kind of reflects with her, and everything she does reflects to me. So I have a counselor outside of our relationship, but my wife does offer mental conditioning services. Um, as part of you've seen the title of this Restored Wellness Recovery Spa. That is a company that my wife and I own. We offer recovery services as well as mental health care and conditioning and coaching. So, like, I have access to a lot of stuff. I can't use a lot of it because of how big I am, but I have access to stuff. I've got one of the greatest gym environments I've ever experienced in my life, 2 doors down from our spa. And the guys over here at Ironwood Fitness, like, you talk about a gym culture. The day I walked in there the first time, I was greeted by a guy that I didn't even know was the owner, but he jumped in and started helping me when I was struggling. A guy I used to work with got me in over there. He's the one who took me in there the first time, and he kept me going. And we met the powerlifting crew. I tell you what, if you want motivation in gym environment, find the powerlifters. Those are the most motivating individuals I have ever run across in my life. They want to see you succeed no matter what, and they will jump in and help you from form to 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 adaptive weights to little ways to make yourself stronger, things that'll help you progress. If 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 you want motivation, find the power lifters because I've not met a power lifter ever that looks down on somebody for trying to better themselves. I've been to competitions where the two guys that are in the hunt for the best lifter of the meet are screaming for each other to do better because they don't want to beat you because you had a bad day. They want to beat you because you had a good day. And it's the most inspirational thing you'll ever watch. If wherever you're at, find a local powerlifting meet and go watch it. It's going to be one of the greatest things that you've ever seen. Not trying to tell you that you need to get into powerlifting, but if you want to see a gym culture, find the powerlifters. Those guys are great. In closing here, don't let your brain talk you out of staying consistent. Don't let your brain talk you out of creating habits. Consistency and good habits is what makes this work. I'm finding out, I'm only a weekend this year, but I am finding out that when I push myself through the hard days, the next day is better. I woke up this morning sore as could be. I came into our spa this morning, couldn't hardly walk. My legs hurt so bad from leg night last night, which is weird because they usually don't hit me for 2 days, but today it's hit me hard. Instead of sitting down in the chair and giving up, I came in and walked up and down the hallway for 2,000 steps, and then we've got a whole body vibration plate. I stood on it for 15 minutes, and then I hopped in our cold plunge tub. My legs still hurt, but they don't hurt near as bad. That's where recovery comes in because, you know, as everyone knows, body pain will shut you down quicker than anything. You don't want to move, you don't want to do anything anytime we don't feel good. But also, on the same point, we're not dead. It's our brain telling us to shut down. So sometimes you got to push past the thoughts and jump into what you know you need to do. So if you found any of this stuff helpful, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to grow a following here to keep me motivated, to keep me consistent, um, and to show you guys that anybody can do it. If I can do it at 460 pounds, you can do it no matter where you're at in life. But yeah, thanks for watching.